Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
The National Stock Exchange of India has been actively involved with initiatives to educate the young generation of our country on the importance of financial management. One such initiative is NSE FinWiz that focuses on educating and advising the young workforce of the country on wealth management to enhance financial literacy and to empower
Insurance
them.
is for protection and investment is for growth.
Another program facilitated by NSE IPFT is NSE Financial Quest. This inter-school financial quiz contest goes an extra mile by educating the young students on fundamentals of finance.
On the buzzer, what is this? It's the formula for the simple interest. Simple interest is the right answer.
Under the NSE Financial Quest Base Camps banner, the program engages students around the year through workshops on various topics, projects, interactive videos and quizzes.
DiCaprio is bouncing checks of Pan Am.
Plus 75 Plus 75.
To facilitate these two programs, NSE along with CNBC TV18 has travelled across the country to bridge the wide knowledge gap in terms of finance. In this episode of NSE FinWiz, we are all set to achieve our objectives once again by gauging young professionals in a new city.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV18, and I'm your host Nithya Balakrishnan. Today my team and I are transporting you literally to a chocolate world, the campus of Mondelez, India at Mumbai. Headquartered in Mumbai, Mondelez India is the company that makes Cadbury's Dairy Milk, Oreo, Bournvita, 5-Star and many more chocolate products a reality for all of us. Mondelez India, a part of Mondelez International, is a world leader in biscuits, chocolates, gum, candy and powdered beverages. The company operates in 4 categories, namely beverages, biscuits, candy, and is an industry leader in the chocolate category. Mondelez has been in India for close to 7 decades now, having started in 1948. Apart from its headquarters in Mumbai, the company has sales offices in New Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai, and manufacturing facilities in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. NSE FinWiz along with CNBC TV18 visited the headquarters of Mondelez India to address the significance of financial planning and wealth management to its employees with the theme, Dreams Come True.
I think it's a fantastic opportunity for our colleagues to engage with experts from the financial world, to understand, get the opportunity to articulate their dreams, to understand how others may have really gone about realizing their dreams and put some numbers to it, put a plan behind it and then go back a little more financially aware, all done in a fun and exciting way.
The question I like to ask is that, does it make sense buying a house or renting a house in the long term?
I actually look at financial planning in terms of one goal. So for example, if I wanted to buy a house in 2013, I started planning for it in 2009. Or if I want to travel abroad in say 2018, I'll start planning for it from now. So I look at investment from that perspective.
I start investing around 5 years back. Right now it's majorly on real estate and little bit on PF and mutual fund.
I basically am not a risk taker, so I always invest in conventional methods like fixed deposits because that's where my capital doesn't get eroded.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV18, and I'm your host Nithya Balakrishnan. Today my team and I have decided to literally take you to Chocolate World. We're in the campus of Mondelez India here in Mumbai, and joining me on the show are 2 very special guests, Firoz Aziz and Gajendra Kothari. It's a pleasure having you here today. So one of the things we've noticed is when it comes to the typical Indian investor, the traditional mindset is to save and not really think of how to make that money grow. So where is this distinction between saving and investment, and how should one really be looking at new age tools to go ahead and park funds to make that money multiply?
See, when it comes to Indian investing, the trend is very clear. Indians, there are 2 kinds of important attributes of this trend to my mind. One attribute is Indians are very good at saving, but actually are very poor in terms of the learning curve when it comes to investing. We as Indians have come up with the survival of fittest kind of an environment, not as secure as an environment as maybe an emerged country would have. So we have this habit of saving what we have. But after saving, then comes the knowledge or the expertise or the basic know-how of investing. That's where I think Indians have not come up the learning curve as much. Having said which, Indians in that process of saving don't invest sooner enough. They save enough money and then invest 4, 5, 10 years later. Then they could have actually started. So in this whole delaying mechanism, they end up losing the most important power called the power of compounding, which is also called the eighth wonder of the world. We end up missing because we don't start investing enough earlier, right? We maybe start savings. So having said which, if 1,000 rupees, which is almost the cost of a fine dine for two in any of our metros currently, if invested for long periods of time, as long as 30 years for example, because it doesn't hurt too many people to spare 1,000 rupees a month, if that compounds at 13-14%, which is not a very uphill task, that money would compound itself to 54 lakhs at the end of 30 years. Now that's not the end of the story which I'm trying to narrate. Then let's assume a person says, I've just started earning, so let me give it 4-5 years and then let me start visualizing savings. And if he delays it by 5 years, the same 1,000 rupees for 25 years will only get you 27 lakhs. So the delay in 5 years actually costed this gentleman or the lady half the corpus which he or she could have collected. So this 5 years advancement could have doubled your corpus of the investment which you could have done for whatever purpose, saving or investing. To summarize so far, the point being made here is, I think clubbing savings and giving enough importance to investing as well as an Indian is very critical. Point 2 being made is, if you don't club them together and defer investment and advance savings, you would be losing the power of compounding, which can cost you every 5 years half the corpus which you have collected.
If I were to ask you, where are the top 3 vehicles to park funds these days in order to make your money grow, what would the answer be?
So again, at times we we confuse ourselves actually. Though there are multiple products available in the market to grow your money, but you should realize that there is no shortcut in making money. Okay, if you're looking for shortcuts, then you are actually going towards disaster. Equities has been considered as one of the best vehicle to grow your money over long term, right? Of course, you have two options. You can invest directly into the markets. You can buy shares of companies directly. But there you need to have two very important things with you. One is time to do research on these companies. And the second is skill set. Investing is a serious profession. It's not a part-time job or a part-time activity. You have to really, deep dive into it. If you don't have time and skill, then don't get into it. It's a recipe for disaster. You'll not make money. On the contrary, you'll lose a lot of money. Then what is the other alternative for common people like us? Then there is a vehicle called mutual funds, wherein we all can put maybe 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees each month or lump sum, and this money goes into a pool, and there is a professional fund manager who manages that money as per objective of the fund.
Sure.
So that's the best way to create wealth in the long term in a more disciplined fashion.
So if I were to ask you, Feroz, one of the top concerns is how to, play with the volatility that's associated with the equity markets, because you have your, your PPF, etc., savings bank, where there is nothing that's going to happen with your money. There is the guarantee. But the volatility that is associated with equity markets, how does one brace oneself for the ride?
See, I think, of course, like you rightly mentioned, equity markets could be a roller coaster ride. But the roller coaster ride is good as long as I sit through the roller coaster till the end. For example, volatility, which is supposedly something which scares most of us, actually is the largest reason why you make more money than the rest of the asset classes, right? So if not for the volatility, just like a fixed deposit, every day increases in value gradually, then you would never have a good day or a bad day. You will have the same day. So equity markets, the volatility is actually a positive term. One thing if you remember, any fall, as long as you let time to heal it, recovers back. So if I put some data, over the last 10 years, if last 23 years, for example, the mutual fund industry has been existing. If somebody invested for 10 years, the most unluckiest investor has made 11% post-tax. The luckiest guy has made 33%. So where is the volatility? Volatility is notional if you don't panic. So how to deal with it? Don't panic. And just have the nerves to stay with it. Very importantly, it's like planting a tree and plucking it and seeing whether it's growing every day would be no good to the tree. Then you have to blame yourself for it, not the tree. So the point is, volatility best avoided by just ignoring it.
Fair enough. So stay in bed.
Yeah, I just want to give an analogy here. You know, this up and down is temporary, it's momentarily, it will subsidize. And if you just hold on, do nothing, put your seatbelt on, I think you're fine. So that's the way to look at when you're investing in equity. Because equity is not for short-term investments. It's not you're putting money for 6 months and 1 year, 3 years. It's supposed to be put for minimum 5, 10, 15, 20 years for the power of compounding to kick in.
That note, it's time to slip into a quick breather right here on NSE FinWiz. But stay tuned on the other side. All the details about retire planning that you would want to know on the other side. Welcome back. Still in conversation with Gajendra Kothari and Feroz Aziz here at Mondelez India in Mumbai. And it's time to throw the spotlight directly onto retirement planning. The first question that comes to everybody's mind is, when do I start planning for my retirement? Because it's not going to happen, hopefully, till one is about 60 years of age. So 25, 30, you're still thinking YOLO, you only live once. So when do you start talking about post-60? What happens?
So it's a very simple equation, you know. So when we are 25, retirement is not our priorities, for sure, you know. So, but if somebody were to start 5,000 only, and if you're just putting for next 10 years this money, 5,000 rupees per month, till 35 you're investing, and you stopped investing after that, and just let that money work till 60, you will end up getting around 5 crores. But if you didn't start that time, you started 40, thinking that now is a good time to retire, and you started with 15,000 rupees per month. So you're putting around 6 lakhs, but you are only getting 2 crores at retirement. So all the way till 20 years you've invested from 40 to 60, and the first guy invested only for 10 years and only 5,000 rupees. He is getting 6 crores, but you are now getting only 4 crores. So there is a big shortfall. The more you delay, the more the shortfall will be for retirement.
True.
So the first thing, you may start with 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, but first goal on your list should be retirement.
Fair enough. But here I'd want you to jump in, Feroz, because we have Bharadwaj from the supply chain department. He's a management trainee, 24 years of age, and has a very interesting point. For someone who's just started his career, how do you justify saving for the long term for retirement, especially when there are no short or medium term benefits with planning for retirement or saving towards the retirement fund? So if I can have Bharadwaj quickly.
So in my opinion, yeah, like very valid. So it's very easier said than done that you plan your retirement, you become visionaries and move 30 years ahead and then plan your retirement. It's very quite easy to say. But very importantly, today the definition of retirement is different for the younger generation. Retirement is not having anything to do. It is having what you like to do rather than doing for money, right? So initial portions of your life, you're working for money. And retire, when I retire, it doesn't mean that I don't work. Nobody wants to be idle. You do what you wish to do, right? So that's my motivation. It might not take 25 years if I can retire with this new definition at the end of 15 years from now. If you could, then that's your motivation. At the end of 15 years, I stop working for money and I start pursuing my passion or what I enjoy doing. So with the new definition of retirement, I would say that if I was you, I would be motivated to get to what I like to do rather than, now you can definitely say working here is what you like to do, which is great, I'm sure. It's a very important thing. But importantly, redefine retirement for yourself as not that I want to sit idle after 15 years. Then retirement can actually be advanced to 10 years from now. What stops doing that?
Fair enough. Now, if I were to ask you, Gajendra, most of us here know about systematic investment plans or SIPs. But talk to us really about SWPs or systematic withdrawal plans and how they can factor into our retirement planning.
I guess this is the least talked about vehicle. You know, you might all have been doing SIPs, which has really caught on the buzzword in the last 3, 4, 5 years. That's a fantastic thing you're doing, because SIP helps you to build a corpus. Now what do you do with that corpus when you retire? You ought to enjoy it, right? You will not require that entire 3 crore or 4 crore on day one. So what you can do, there's something beautiful thing in mutual funds called SWP, which is nothing but the reverse of SIP, systematic withdrawal plan. Now that you have a corpus, you are enjoying it month by month. Let me give you a live example on this. Suppose 20 years back you would have come to me and says, Gajendra, I've got 1 crore corpus today and this is my retirement money and I now want to enjoy my retirement. And can you give me 1 lakh rupees per month from this corpus? 1 lakh means 12 lakhs per annum and you're withdrawing 12% of your corpus of 1 year. If I would have put in simply a balance fund, which is 65% equity and 35% debt, and started giving you 1 lakh rupees per month, and for the last 20 years you are getting 1 lakh per month, so in 20 years from your 1 crore you have already withdrawn 2 crore 25 lakhs already. And guess what? You're sitting on 15 crore corpus today, the amount which is still left in the corpus, because that money is still working for you. Now how it could have happened? Because the balance fund in this context has given around 18% return in the last 20 years and your withdrawal was 12%. So your money was actually growing more than you were withdrawing. And this 14 crores is as liquid. Whenever you want to withdraw even more amount, you can do that. SWP is tax free as on today. Every monthly withdrawal you have is all tax free and it comes to you on whatever date you want, like a pension, on the 1st, on the 10th or whatever be the market levels, the money will be there in your account. So this is one of the best ways, but hardly anybody is aware about this.
On that note, it's time to slip into another quick break right here on NSE FinWiz, but stay tuned. It's a rapid fire Q&A with employees at Mondelez India on the other side. Welcome back. You've tuned into Season 4 of NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV 18. And let's throw the floor open here at Mondelez India in Mumbai. Can I have questions, please? And the microphone to the person with the question, please direct it to one of our guests. Thank you.
My name is Abhimanyu and I have a question regarding NPS as an instrument, whether it's a good instrument and what should be done with it.
NPS, very, very important instrument. In my opinion, to answer your question, Abhimanyu, I think it's a very, very good instrument. National Pension Savings Scheme is what it's called. I think it has the advantage of a mutual fund at 100 the cost. Okay, so what happens is the mutual funds actually have a cost of 2.5% to get the expert advice or the management, which the mutual fund guy does. NPS has the same mutual fund managers offering the service at 100 the cost, and that 2%, 2.5%, like in the previous segments we spoke about, power of compounding can come to double your corpus. So NPS is a very, very good investment, especially given the fact that the same mutual fund managers actually manage. And to top it all, last year in the budget there was a 50,000 separate limit in terms of a tax benefit, which I think is like a bonus on a very good asset or a very good vehicle already. So 50,000 over and above the ATC limit of 1.5 lakhs is available for you to get some tax benefit as a motivation to start it. So NPS, a big go ahead, and especially if there is a tax advantage which actually gets you some degree of extra return to start with, I think it's an amazing bonus to start.
See, equity has been a learning curve, right from 2004 onwards, but 2008 has been a good learning for all the people, right? So just tell me one thing, is any principle like, the moment you have 40% or 50% of return, you sell it, because there is no buying time, right? So there is a saying like, always you have to buy at the dips. What is the right time for buying? There should be an ample good time for selling as well. So what is the cutoff? 40, 50, 100, what is that?
If you are now putting your money, you must be very sure that this money is going to be at least there for 5, 7, 10 years. If your horizon is 2, 3 years, I'm sorry to say you may be disappointed, right? So when the markets are in green zone, which is below 16 PE normally, then it's all out to go and invest in equity. When it is above 19, you should be careful in your approach. You should invest in a staggered manner and don't put all your money at these high levels. If you stagger investments, then you'll find. So keep looking at this scale. This is a good indicator to tell you whether the market is overpriced or underpriced.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're totally timed out on this edition of NSE FinWiz. Thank you so much for joining us, Gajendra Kothari and Feroz Aziz. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And from all of us here at Mondelez India in Mumbai, have a great weekend and thanks for watching.
So my biggest takeaway from today was that while we work so hard for money, how do you really make your money work for you? So I think it's not just about saving but also investing. I think that's the key takeaway for me.
I guess the discussion on SWP was something new, so I guess I'll start focusing on SWP as well. So that's something new that I wasn't aware of.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.